Ryan with Elite Public Safety Training Academy. Thing I'm going to cover right now is your draw stroke, proper draw stroke, your steps in the proper application of your draw stroke. Okay. Of course, you probably learned different malfunction or multiple ways of how to handle or manipulate your firearm. I'm going to show you a few different ways from my side of the river over here. Alright, first thing first, I always tell people take a duck. 3 fingers up, 2 fingers straight ahead, thumb and index finger of your dominant hand. Put the gun into that, and then shift up until your thumb is flagged high and your index finger is flagged high on the slide. Go ahead and let the fingers fall into place. That's your one-handed style. That's your one-handed grip right there. Every time you grip the gun from a holster, this is what you should end up with. No matter what, this is what you should end up with. Okay? It's going to prevent you from always having to situate the gun into your hand. If I grab it like this, guess what? When I pull it out, I'm going to have to situate my hands back up this way. If you flag high every time, you're going to have the perfect grip, and that's what you want. Okay? Thumb flagged high, index finger flagged high. On the gun, it fills in the gap right here. If you have a gap during your shooting, alright, because your thumb is down here on this groove that Glock decided to put right there, you're going to have your rapid fire shots are going to be all over the place, and your follow-up shots are not going to be as great. Your follow-up hits are not going to be as great as you want them to be. To improve your shooting for speed and accuracy, you're going to have to flag that thumb and that index finger high and grip that gun nice and tight. Okay? Second hand. When you imagine you're coming up to your second hand to put it in play, thumb up in the air, fingers pointing at the deck at a 45-degree angle. When you bring the gun into play, all you're doing is mushing those two together, making sure that you're covering up all the space here with the meaty part of your hand. Okay? And you're going to push straight out in front of you. I tell people to imagine yourself punching out. You're punching straight out. You don't want to sailboat, and you don't want to shoot Jesus. Okay? Don't come out like this. Alright? Don't sailboat and come up from a down point. You want to punch straight out. If I was punching somebody and coming at a straight hit, it's going to be straight out. No matter how I turn my fist, it's straight out in front of me. Same way your gun should be straight out. Should be straight in front of your eyeball. Boom. Okay? I shouldn't see this top muzzle down thing. Boom. It should be straight out in front of you. Okay? Another thing, when you go with your grip should be only tight enough so the gun does not come out of your hand. If the gun comes out of your hand while shooting, that means you're not holding the gun tight enough. Okay? Alright guys, what we're going to do, we're going to cover the malfunction drills, your type 1 stovepipe malfunction. When you're doing this practice, you can go ahead and get a different variation of practices out the way. First of all, your draw stroke. Alright? Drawing from a concealed position. Alright? Go ahead and practice that. First of all, you're going to come as far over with your reactive hand, grabbing your shirt as tight as you can grab it, and go all the way up. You want to go straight up on your garment. Alright? Straight up. Do not pull forward, because if you pull forward, you're going to grab the back of your gun. Alright? Come up, straight out. Go ahead and go out to a drawed out position, extend it all the way out. What you want to do is you want to simulate taking that shot. Go ahead and set your trigger as you're coming out. Take your shot. Boom. Alright? You recognize that nothing happens. Alright? Go into an immediate reaction drill. Take the gun, cant it towards you so you can see that nothing has happened with the slide coming backwards. Okay, bring the gun into you. Tap, rack, and reassess the target. Go back out, squeeze the trigger again, see if something happens. Boom, uh-oh, nothing happens. Check. Alright, once you check, tap, rack, back out again. Okay, you continue to repeat the same process. Check the gun, nothing has happened. Alright, slide is not coming back, it's fully seated to the front. So it means it's going to be either a stovepipe or a bad primer, or your firing pin not striking the primer. Alright, tap rack, get a new bullet in there, strike again, boom, nothing happened. We checking, bring it back to us, tap, rack, uh-oh, we locked to the rear, now we're empty. Alright, going to your next drill of a reload. Reload, put new one in. Got new shot, boom, go back into the same type 1 malfunction drill. Tap, rack, look at the gun, it's empty, drop, turn, put a new magazine in, and go. You can keep repeating that same drill to go into your immediate reaction for a type 1 malfunction, which is your stovepipe or a bad primer or failure to fire. Okay. Obviously, if you get a stovepipe, what you will see is a bullet like this. Okay, most striker fired guns, the shell cases won't face up or sideways. You don't have to worry about all that. If you see a bullet facing any kind of way and it's locked your slide slightly to the rear, again, tap, rack it really hard, and get to the reassessing point. Alright, now, when you have that happen, make sure that you don't turn your gun all kind of different ways trying to get it to drop. Alright, it doesn't matter if you turn your gun this way or that way. If you rack the gun hard enough, it's going to fly out. Okay, it's that centrifugal force. Alright, cause force to make it come out. Alright, okay, next drill we're going to set up is your whatever type it's called, I'm not sure, but it's your double feed malfunction drill. Your double feed is when the way you set it up is basically lock your slide to the rear. Alright, using your slide release button. Drop a dummy round into the chamber. Make sure it gets down, seated down in there. Take your magazine, lock it in there, and drop your slide. Let your slide drop and come forward. Okay, we're going to go ahead and holster. I'm going to go into a double feed malfunction. Alright, we're going to do two-handed first to make sure that we get it right. Then we're going to go into one-hand manipulation. Your two-hand manipulation, again, go from your draw stroke. Garment all the way up, come in, two-handed, come out, boom, press. Nothing happens. We recognize a threat. Oh my God, I got a double feed. Okay, what I need to do from here, I got two options. I have a striker fired gun like a Glock, the new SR9 Ruger, and a couple other guns. Okay, and then you have your hammer fired guns, which are your Sig Sauers, your Berettas, and all other type of guns. All right, I'm going to demonstrate the striker fired way. Okay, once you recognize threat, you know it's a double feed. Okay, it's a threat to you because you cannot fire back at the bad guy. Alright, once you recognize that, you're going to take and depress the magazine release. At the same time, you're racking your slide. Do it at least 3 times. Let the round fall to the ground. Make sure you visually see it come to the ground. Take your second magazine, come up, seat it, rack, and come back up. Boom. At this point, you can go back to a type 1 malfunction drill. Recognize that the gun had a failure to fire. Tap rack, and now I'm empty again. Okay? And you just run that drill over and over again until your mind gets it. That's two-handed malfunction, double feed malfunction, and that's what striker fired. Okay. Now we're gonna go into doing it with a non-striker fired pistol. Give me a second. Get reset here. All right. Take one bullet, put it in your secondary magazine, and you can put. It don't matter how many you have in this magazine. At least just have one in there. Okay. Set the round back in. Magazine in, drop the slide. Okay, we're gonna start from this position. All right, push out, boom, you hit it, you recognize threat, pull the gun into you. With hammer fired guns, you're gonna make sure that you're pressing up on the slide release button and lock the slide to the rear at the same time. Make sure your muzzle is down range. All right, you don't want to shoot your friendlies over here. All right, you want to stay focused on threat. Once we have that locked to the rear, we're gonna drop magazine. Now it's important that you don't come up with the next magazine until you've already racked this gun. A lot of people tend to drop that magazine and come up with a new one, but now you have the same problem because it's going to create, it's going to create the same double feed that you had in the first place. Alright, so before we come up with second magazine, we're going to come up and rack this gun. See the round flies out, come back up, put the gun in front of your face, rack, go back out to a new round. Boom, uh-oh. Got a stovepipe type 1 again. Tap rack, we're empty. Drop, come up with a new round, simulate that. Okay, simulate that. Continue to do that, and your mind will do it in combat for you. You don't have to worry about second guessing yourself. At this point, my body does everything for me. If I see something, my body automatically recognizes what type of threat it is or what type of malfunction it is, and it automatically corrects the issue. Alright, you want to practice this enough so that your body corrects the issue without thought. Alright? Alright, now we're going to discuss the double feed malfunction, manipulating with one hand. I'm sorry. We're going to do double feed first. We're going to discuss double feed malfunction with a one hand only manipulation. Alright, once again, you got to get the gun out. Boom. Shoot. Boom. You recognize problem. Once you recognize problem, you got to realize what type of gun you have. Okay? Obviously, I have a striker fired pistol. Okay? But since I have one hand, I cannot do the magazine release because the magazine will not fall, as you see here. Okay, what I'm going to have to do is go down to my dominant, my non-dominant knee, come and use the chamber port into my my heel here and press up on my slide release button. Once I have that locked, I take that, I come back over here and I rack the back of my either my front sight or my rear sight onto the same part. Okay, get that round loose. Okay, once that round is loose, I come back up, put the gun into the back here, reach over my dominant hand, reload, same thing, rack, I'm ready to fire. Now, I'm going to go into type 1 malfunction, squeeze trigger, recognize recognize problem. It's a type 1 stovepipe. Okay, failure to fire. I'm going to come down, I'm going to tap knee to tap. I'm going to rack. We can rack onto our pocket, or we can come back down here to our foot, but it takes a lot longer to get that back down there to my foot. So I can come here into my pocket and grip my sights. No, you got to understand that some guns don't have straight sights. Glocks do, but you got to practice on what your gun has. Mine has straight sights. Lock into my pocket, drop it, it comes open. Alright, and that's what's supposed to happen because I don't have any more bullets in here. Alright, but if you had a round in there, it should seat a new round. Alright. Alright, let's imagine, okay, right hand goes down. Alright, all you have is your reactive hand or your non-dominant hand. Alright, we don't want to call this thing weak. We don't want to call this the off hand. This is my reactive hand for reaction, and this is my non-dominant hand because this is my dominant. Alright, depending on where your holster is, if you have that 4 o'clock position like mine, sometimes if you bend over, it's a lot easier to get the gun out. Depending on the cant of your holster, mine is canted to the front, so I have to pull straight up instead of pulling back. If I pull back, I won't be able to get my gun out. Okay, now you can also come around the front here. Okay, if I'm able to get it, because I'm a thinner person, if you're of larger frame, you won't be able to come around the front like this. Okay, unless you have a 3 o'clock cant or a 2 o'clock cant. Alright, 4 o'clock cant, you're going to have to come around the back. Pull straight up, get a good grip on the gun. Do not muzzle flash anybody. Come around, come up. Boom. I squeeze trigger. I recognize that there is a problem. Again, I'm going to turn. I'm going to use my index finger on my slide release button. Go down on my non-dominant knee and use the back of my shoe. Press up and lock the slide. It's harder than it looks. Boom. Once my slide is locked, now I can drop my magazine. Okay, I need to take and rack my slide. Get that round out of there. Once I have the round out of there, again, I need to come up, seat that gun in there real tight. Magazine. Boom, it's in, it's locked in. Rack it, go. Now, same thing left hand, I'm going to squeeze. Recognize I have a new problem. Tap, either rack into my pocket here, or rack into my shoe again. Making sure that I keep the muzzle facing away from me and not down on my skin on my pants so that the chamber will get caught. Rack, get that round out of there, come back up and shoot. Okay, once again, it's an empty magazine, so it's not going to get a new round. But let's show you what it would look like if I had 2 rounds. Okay, I come up, boom, recognize problem, hit, rack, new round out, new round in, boom, hit, rack, new round out, new round in, boom, hit, rack, now I'm empty. Okay, and that's what it would look like from a left hand manipulation. Alright, you good?